everything is intentional in what we do, but it's also a remarkable transformation. And we've seen kids come in here with mental health issues, anxiety, stress, depression, and we see them coming back. We have a few repeat Sheros who've been in our program 2 years now. They already earned their cape the first year around, but they choose to still come back because this has become their safe place where they can authentically be who they are. And I expect to see them more. They also participate in our summer program. Like they're repeaters, right? It's you know that you need to show up because we're asking them to show up. And every week I tell them kudos because you showed up for yourself today. You showed up to do the work for yourself. And that's brave. That's really, really brave to be able to do that at the age of 9 or 12 or 16. Many people have a hard time doing that as adults, you know, being able to show up or get out of bed. But these girls made a commitment to themselves and they've seen their way through. So I'm really proud of them.
If you had to try to convince the toughest mind, be it a kid or a parent, that they should be here and a part of this, what would you say to them to convince them?
I mean, Sheros Rises is a transformational program. It really is. It's a transformational program. Try it out. See what happens on day one. See how you feel about it. Experience it for yourself. Don't take my word for it. You know, do not take my word for it. I could be just like anybody else who's walking around doing alternative facts. I'm not that person. I will always tell you the truth, but you have to experience it for yourself. And so next year in our programming, we're not going to offer it on Zoom. We're going to be only doing it in person, because when you're here and you feel the moments, you feel the questions, when the girls ask questions or they're doing their work, you can see it on their faces. You can see it in their minds. You can see how they carry themselves, and you can feel that energy and power. You can literally feel it. It pulsates through our day. And they're joyful at the end of it. It's a lot of work, and they're working on themselves, and they're usually tired at the end of the day, but they always come back because they got something, even a small nugget that carries them through to the next week.
How's it changed you?
I think it's affirmed a lot for me. First of all, it's one thing to have an intention, and it's another for the world to receive it in the way in which you intended it to be. That in itself is powerful. This is hard. It's literally my blood, sweat, tears, and all of me pouring out to it. I'm exhausted. I'm really exhausted, but it is worth everything to me because I feel like I'm living my purpose. Like this is what I've always been meant to do, and every part of my journey and every moment in my life brought me to here. And I think that if I didn't go through those things, I wouldn't have been able to understand what these girls feel right now. And to be able to do this work, I have to be that example. And I tell that to my entire team. How do you take care of yourself? I have to remind myself to rest. I have to remind myself for self-love, my self-care routine, because I know that I am now an example, and what I say, what I do, how I walk through this world matters, because I have all these young girls who are looking at me to see if what I'm doing and how I'm responding, even when there's things that are hard. And so I hold myself up a little higher. I give myself a lot more grace than I used to. I also give myself time to rest my body and my mind. And I didn't do that before. You know, I would be the person running around doing 60, 80-hour work weeks. Now I'm intentionally choosing how I spend my time, and this is worth everything. And I do it for free. So does our team. We're a volunteer-based organization, you know, and we want to grow. We want to grow into not being a volunteer-based organization where we have some key staff members, because our program is growing. You know, we want to grow to have serve 250, 500, 1,000 girls. And that requires a solid team and office and all the infrastructure. We have a core curriculum that is fantastic. Nobody has this. Nobody has an actual written curriculum that does this work with all the pieces of it. And next year, as we move into next year, we're not just going to have our keynote speakers and our pillars in action, but we're also going to have pillars in community. Because we really believe, and I certainly believe, that if you change one girl and you affect her life, she's going to teach her mom and her cousin and her community and maybe her family. And then you start building other things up and uplifting an entire community of people rather than just one girl, because that's what happens.
I had two questions, and I'm going to ask them in reverse because you've already touched on it. How big can this get?
It can get as big as it wants to be. My idea was for literally 4 girls, right? It's already bigger than I imagined it to be, but I'd love for this to be in every underserved community across the country. I'd love for this to be across the globe,